Hi, Max and the Millions, Chapter 10. Hi, said Max. It felt like a stupid thing to say, but Max had never spoken to a tiny king before. He thought being friendly was a good start. It wasn't. The boy shot across the sand like a gunshot. In less than a second, he was back inside the kingdom walls. Max stayed crouched on the floor, his eyes shining and his pulse racing. Maybe he could have felt worse for scaring the boy, but he couldn't wipe the smile off his face. It's a living model, a living, breathing model kingdom. This was it. This was Mr. Darrow's secret project, and one he had been preparing Max for all along. And Mr. Darrow had been right. It was more than a model. It was the greatest invention in the history of mankind. Max was so excited that it took him a while to realise someone behind him was tapping him on the shoulder. He spun around. Standing behind him, still wearing the unicorn onesie, was Sasha. Max's stomach dropped. He suddenly remembered where he was and what he was supposed to be doing. He leapt to his feet, trying to block the castle from view. "Sasha, what are you doing here?" I came to find you," said Sasha. "Mr. Pitt got a call from the builders and had to leave. Apparently the revolving dance floor in the new staff room isn't working." Max nodded, sweat breaking out across his forehead. He had to get Sasha away from here. If his roommate caught so much as a glimpse of the tiny kingdom, Mr. Darrow's creation would be discovered and it would all be over. Max strode towards the door. "I see. Well, let's go back downstairs before..." He made it halfway to the door before Sasha grabbed him. "Don't tell anyone, please." Max was completely thrown. "Huh?" "Everyone thinks I'm back in the States," Sasha cried. "If they find out I've been here the whole time running the Sparkle Pony Summer Club. Don't you get it, Max? I'll be the laughing stock of the whole school." Sasha calmed down, but Sasha wouldn't calm down, and he wouldn't move either. Max tried to push him out the door, but it was no use. "Sasha, come on, I'm not going to tell anyone." Sasha was shocked. "You're not?" "Of course not. If you don't want me to say anything, I won't. Now, let's go." Max kept trying to bundle Sasha out the door, but it was like trying to fight a golden retriever. Now Sasha was beaming from ear to ear and shaking Max's hand. "Max, thank you. I knew you were a good guy. What can I do to repay you?" "You can get out the door." Max shoved harder. "Quick, before..." "Is that a castle?" Max froze. Pardon?" Sasha was staring over Max's shoulder. There's a little castle on the floor behind you." Max had to come up with a lie, quick. "Yes, it is a model castle. Mr. Darrow makes models. Now let's..." "Max?" "Yes?" "It's moving." Max almost couldn't bring himself to look, but he knew he had to. The walls of the kingdom were covered in hundreds of tiny knights. They were all wearing wooden armour and clambering up the watchtowers at super fast speed, filling the guard posts and gateways. They stood in position, facing Max and Sasha, with spears no bigger than splinters, and uttered a tiny, furious battle squeak. There was a long pause. "Max?" "Yes?" "Are those people alive?" Max gulped. He knew that he had to do it now. If he wanted to protect Mr. Darrow's creation, then he was going to have to blackmail Sasha. He was going to have to say that if Sasha didn't keep quiet, then Max would make sure everyone in school knew about the Sparkle Pony Summer Club. There was no way that Sasha would understand how important this was, how precious and unique. And that's incredible! Max stopped mid-thought. Sasha was staring at the kingdom in complete amazement. His mouth was hanging open. "Can you believe it? It's a living, breathing model kingdom with little knights and everything. It's like something out of Dragon Rider." Max blinked. "You've read Dragon Rider?" Sasha shrugged. Well, I read your copy when you weren't in the room. I thought you wouldn't mind." He looked back to the castle. "But this is for real. Look at it. It's the most incredible invention in the history of the world." Suddenly, Sasha didn't look like the coolest boy in school. He looked more excited than Max felt. Max had always thought they had nothing in common, nothing to talk about. But it looked like he'd been wrong. "What's What's it doing here? Max had always preferred working on models to talking with people. Models were easy to understand. They stayed the same. At least they usually did. People talked too fast and changed their minds without warning and veered off at different subjects just as Max was about to grasp what they were talking about. With models, you always knew where you were. They never surprised you. But sometimes Max realised being surprised by someone was really nice. Sasha, he said, can you keep a secret? That's the end of chapter 10.